What's up, bro? Hello?
Yo, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, what's up?
All right, cool.
I sent Bob a message telling him to go a little bit earlier. Or we're gonna hop in a little earlier.
All right.
But I'm still waiting to hear back. So I think he's still getting his stuff ready.
All good. I'm gonna go ahead and press. Zoom's already recording, but I'm just gonna go ahead and press record on my end too. So that's already out of the way. And y'all got it from here.
Okay.
And everything's already good. So if, when y'all get in there, if you want to go ahead and start, you got it. No need for a countdown or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it's ready. Whenever he's here, really.
Sweet. And I put all the Discord stuff in, and I was actually about to screenshot the event and post it in the chat too. Just as a reminder.
Hmm. Robbie's coming in now.
Sweet.
I'm gonna do like a screenshot of me and Bobby with like a
Oh yeah.
it's like an excited looking face.
Yeah.
Oh, something like that.
Fantastic.
Oh, there we go. I think all you gotta do is unmute your mic. No. So we just unmute your mic,
Yeah. Unmute at the bottom left corner of your
or
screen.
could you unmute him? Cam?
Oh,
We can
let me
unmute
see.
him.
I might be able to do that. Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was trying to what's this thing doing? There we go.
Sweet. Welcome.
Welcome, man. How you feeling?
All right, Gifton. I'm looking at this light shining. I don't know what to do about that.
Hmm.
Let me see something here.
I think the lighting looks pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So I had an idea, right, where we would I'll take a quick screenshot of us on the Zoom call
Okay.
so that people can tune in. So we'll do that real quick, and then once 4 p.m. comes around, we'll start.
Cool.
So we'll do it right now. So just a quick on the count of 3, we just go like, we do some kind of funny face or whatever.
All right.
So 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
All right.
Your video's frozen, Gifton.
Oh no, I'll be right. I'm just closing it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Of course. I'll be muted. Whenever you.
Uh-oh, what the hell did I do? I did something wrong.
What's up?
I did something wrong.
What did you do?
There we go.
All right, I posted that. 3:51, perfect time. It was good to see Curtis, man. It's been a minute,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Where were y'all at yesterday?
Club Heritage. It was like the Harlem Cultural Arts Center, which is on 16th and Malcolm X. Yeah, so it was a good vibe, man. Really good, crowd. We had a lot of the Harlem Heritage Tours. Those guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Good people. And also, Bobby, we're gonna send one of these off to you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you being here. So
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thanks for asking, man.
Of course. All right, so I think we're ready for 4. Cam, we're ready, right? You start on. It's recording.
Yep, you guys are good to go.
Perfect. Welcome to In the Shed. It gives me great honor to introduce someone that I truly admire in terms of his music, his playing. He's had a lot to do with the history of jazz music and beyond. I've had the pleasure to share the stage with this guest that I'm about to present, and also record a record with him. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to talk to the great Bobby Watson, everybody. How are you?
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you for that introduction, Gifton.
Just trying to, I don't want to make it any, I don't want to make it like a jazz introduction. I just, as you being someone that, has been my life, I appreciate you a lot. So it's great to have you here and for us to get a chance to talk about some stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about your day and maybe your week so far. Just
My
want to
week?
hear. Yeah, how's your week?
Oh, we're waiting for it to warm up out here. It can't decide whether it's spring, or summer or what. That's kind of how it goes out here. Just one day at a time, practicing, trying to keep my lips together. Tia Fuller's in town tonight, and she invited me to come down, me and Pam, and asked me if I wanted to play one with her. So of course I'm gonna give it a shot, man. But Tia,
I know you're always in there.
been knowing Tia for quite a while,
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's funny that you talked about practicing because that's exactly why we're here. It's just In the Shed. And one of the main questions we ask is, how do you shed? One of the first questions really, how do you shed these days?
I picked the horn up and I try to do some long tones for a minute, but that usually dissolves into some actual playing. At this point in my life, when I pick up the horn, I've been messing around today, but pick up the horn and try to immediately get into some type of expression. In fact, can your viewers wait for like 1 minute?
That's perfect. Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back. I forgot how to I forgot how anyway, I'll be right back. Just look at my door.
Okay. So while Bobby is coming back, all people that are here with us, I'm sure you probably saw the In the Shed event, and thanks for tuning in. Get your questions ready for the great Bobby Watson. We're going to talk about a lot of things, but towards the end, we're going to open it up for people that would like to ask Bobby a question. So just keep in mind of that as well. And yeah, it's insane because I got the first time I met Bobby Watson was through Curtis Lundy. And I first met Curtis Lundy through Carmen Lundy at the Betty Carter Jazz Ahead. And then, surely enough, I started playing some gigs for Curtis Lundy in New Jersey, Edgewater. And we started doing a few hits together. And after a while, he's like, yeah, man, we're going to do a hit, just out of the blue. We're going to do a hit with Bobby, man. I was just like, what? I was like, okay. I was saying, so I, sure enough, I started, making sure that I got some of your tunes under my fingers, but that didn't help anyway because you write so many tunes. So so by the time I got to the gig, you gave me all these charts, and it was fun because I remember one gig we did that once we got a lot of that music together, you know, I tried to at least, you know, memorize some of that stuff, man, because that music, man, it's, you know, it's good to have. I feel like I'm learning standards that I've always heard, you know, and kind of just internalizing them as well, man. So yeah, I was just giving a little spiel about how I first met you and got a chance to play with you, you know, for Curtis Mendes, who's like, you know, your right hand man in a lot of ways, would you say?
Yeah, Curtis brought us together, and then you came down to Smoke at the old place, and he sat in with us and played with us that weekend. And you know, one thing led to another, and we was able to do some hits after the recording we did, which was Keeping It Real on Smoke. And
soulful music.
yeah. You have some of that gospel in you too, you know.
Oh man, you too, brother. And that's a big part of
that church in you, you know. But we were talking about how I practice, you know. And a lot of my practice is hinged to me being active as a player. So sometimes I might work on a single idea, like something I'm trying to do, like I don't know if this is gonna sound like say I'm going but I'm trying to combine practice with expression, because you know sometimes we go okay, but you're not gonna do it on stage, you know. So you gotta go you know. So I just try to swing if I'm going to work on an idea like that other one. You know, try to put some type of rhythm to it, you know, if I'm going to work on some type of technical thing. Now, beyond that, on the other side, at this point in my life, I pull a horn out, I just start trying to play something, no? You know, I just sort of like try to keep it swinging and moving, you know, like I'm feeling like confirmation. You know, just kind of like try to make myself happy.
Oh man.
Feel that when
Yeah, sometimes I think it would the audio when you're playing sax, it would cut off because I think the audio settings might be.
Oh, I dig it. Yeah.
The background.
Right. Well, I won't play much. We're going to talk, but sometimes it's just easier to, hopefully get some type of idea. Basically, I try to make myself happy. I try to lift my spirits. I use the horn when I pick it up to lift my spirits. So I know if I'm making myself feel good and feel happy, then people that are listening to me will feel the same right now. Because I'm kind of over the hump with technical issues. Depending on the day, I could play whatever I hear, and that's one thing too. I'm really listening to everybody play, as I always have, but I'm really going to find out what Bob wants to play. What is Bobby? What am I hearing? And how I want to do it strictly. Like sometimes when I'm on stage, I'll take my shoes off, and it's playing my socks because it makes me feel more at home, and more like I'm at home because I don't wear my shoes when I'm practicing. I'm in my bare feet or my stocking feet, and so sometimes I want to try to bring all that to the stage, and so my practice involves just trying to read my soul. What is my soul saying to me that day? And can I get it out of the horn? And not worrying about, this note or that one, just let one note lead me to the other, and then just be satisfied with that right now, But this, I've been doing it for a long time, so I'm not, but I suggest that this is something that everybody can do. I recommend to listen to your soul and what we all have is pretty much one song we're trying to play our whole life. I heard that from Wayne, and also from classical composers like Beethoven and other people. I didn't talk to Beethoven, but they spoke about Beethoven and things that they usually have this one song that manifests itself in different compositions, different parts. So it's kind of what identifies you. Like, they say, oh, that sounds like a Bobby Watson tune, because there's this big overriding life song that I'm trying to get out of my soul my whole life. That's why you can Train. You always know it's Train, or you always know it's Bird, or you always know it's Dexter, or whatever. Even though through the years they sound a little different, a little younger, middle age, what have you, but they still have this one big song that they're hearing inside. So no matter how much they evolve, it's always there underlying their expression. So I try to tap into that and accept that, and be satisfied with that, and be happy with that, and be confident in that, and because as musicians, we're very affected by what we hear. When we hear other musicians do things, we're like, wow, and we can still do that, but sometimes it make you stop what you're doing and go over here for a minute, which is good, but like Max Roach told me, he said, Bobby, everything is in addition to, not in place of. You dig? So you're always adding. You don't say, oh, I don't want to do that no more. You're just always adding. So if you're influenced by something, add that to your bag, so you can come out of different bags, as they used to say, you have different bags for different songs and different situations, so that you always can express yourself and enjoy yourself. Because when you're enjoying yourself, then the people listening, they enjoy themselves too. It's not while you're up there toiling, trying to play the best you can. That's another mentality. because we're always trying to play the best we can. But if you're always, but if you just try to like just let me express something. If I hear it, go for it, and have fun with it. Honestly, that's a thing, you know. But you got to put in the work, no doubt. We all know this. We're in the shed. This is what it's called. So you know, I'm talking to people I know that are seriously in the shed trying to master the different movements and intervals and what have you, all that good stuff on your instruments, because that's really the language of music anyway, is controlling one note to the next, you know. And the minute you move from one note to the next, you make an interval. So what did you just play? And so you have to recognize all those different spaces like words. So a perfect fourth, a minor six, major six, tritones and octaves and all them wide intervals, and you mix them up together to make music, you know. But it's like you use that in a personal way. I do, you know, to try to be myself, you know, and that means you have to love what you do and love what I say, love what you play, and be satisfied with it, as I said earlier, you know.
So deep, man. So deep. Wow. It makes me think, man, because I think that I eventually, because I love that point you made about we're always trying to get this song out, right? And it comes up, and I think of Miles a lot of the times. You know, you think of Miles and how he sounded through all the periods of music that he played, and I think about also just the fact that, you know, we're always ourselves, no matter where we are in terms of the music, what new music we play, new collaborators we're playing with. And you're someone that has been a part of many different bands, but a lot of bands that were crucial to, you know, some of the standards that we have today. And I just wanted to talk a little bit, or go back to come forward. So I wanted to know about, you know, your first time in New York and getting onto the scene, and then, you know, eventually, you know, being a part of those amazing groups that you played with, like the Art Blakey Jazz Messengers, and some of those compositions and how they came about. But just, you know, just whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got to New York in August of 1976, and it was a Sunday, and I immediately picked up a Village Voice. The Village Voice would tell you where everybody was playing, and I went out, you know. And the first place I went was Folk City, which is right across the street from the Blue Note, down on West 4th or West 3rd, down in the Village, but it's not there anymore. I think it's a McDonald's or something, you know. But you know, I saw they had a jam session that night with Albert Daly, and was hosting the jam session. And I got a chance to meet him and play with Billy Hart, Jabali, and Rufus Reid. That was his first night in town too. Crazy. Yeah. It was August 24th. I remember certain dates, but it was the day after my birthday, and I started sitting in. I forget, somebody else was on the piano, and Albert was downstairs, and I guess he heard me play, and next thing I know, he came up from the basement, you know, where he was hanging out, and he got on the piano, and he said, "What do you want to play?" You know, and I think we played something like Yesterdays or something, you know, and you know, after I got done, people, it wasn't too much of what goes on today when you got other musicians in the room. You know, you get a lot of woo, wow, woo, woo, you know, you get a lot of that, you know. Then, you know, cats would, you know, they listen, And then they would come up to you and say, well, who are you with? Because during that time in 1976, all the bands were coming through New York, and it was customary, like when Basie and Woody Herman and Duke and Buddy Rich and Horace Silver, you know, the bands that were touring then, if they had a few days in New York, all the cats would branch out and go sit in, you know. So naturally, some of the cats they'd hear, they wouldn't recognize them because they didn't live in New York. And so I was new, a fresh face. So my compliment was, who are you with? You know, and I'm going, I ain't with nobody, you know, but I must be doing something good, you know. So, you know, I said, hey, I just got to town, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so that carried on. I got to sit in with Rahsaan. That was after his stroke down at the Vanguard. He let me sit in, and I usually the last set, you know, I would go, you know, on a Thursday or maybe a Wednesday and a Thursday, and then get you know, introduce myself and kind of hang out and listen like a fly on the wall sometimes, and sometimes, you know, just listen and, you know, let them see my face. But you know, with Rahsaan, it was like hear my voice. And you know, the older musicians were very curious, as I try to be. It's like, so, you know, what do you play? You know, blah blah blah. You know how we do. You know, and so by Sunday, I could sit in because listened to the band a couple nights, got to know the cats. You know, maybe some of the guys I would get close to. So I would say, hey, you think Rahsaan will let me sit in, you know, a little bit maybe, you know, and usually it was like the last set on a Sunday. You know, I got to sit in like that, you know, and it was kind of a social thing, you know, networking, whatever you want to call it these days, but getting to know the cats, you know, hanging out, going backstage at the Vanguard, in the kitchen with the Vanguard or wherever. And you know, just meet the cats, and one thing led to another, and then I met different people. It led me to Art Blakey. Somebody said, "Hey, you need to check out the Boo." You know, you probably, you know, I think you should probably check out Art, man. And I met people who were close to him, and they arranged for us to meet. You know, it wasn't like go out to lunch or nothing. It's just, you know, somebody brought him down to the club where I was playing, and it was his birthday, October 11th, actually. And brought him a bottle of champagne, you know, and then he's sitting there and he's listening to me, and next thing I know, he's up on the stage. You know, Butch Miles was playing drums. So, next thing I know, Art was on the drums. They made a little transfer, how the drummers do. They take the ride cymbal, you know, they pass it along, and then they scoot up around each other. And next thing you know, Art's behind the drums, you know. And, you know, after the gig, after the set was over, he pulled me back and goes, so who you with? You know, there was that statement, you know, who you with? I said, well, I'm not with anybody. Well, how would you like to be a jazz messenger? You know, I said, yeah, you know. So I went by his house, but he only had a quintet then, you know, David Schnitter and Bill Hartman and Cameron Brown and Mickey Tucker on bass. I mean, Mickey Tucker on piano and Cameron Brown on bass. So it was a quintet. He had been working with the quintet for several years. He had Carter Jefferson in there on tenor, and, you know, different Eddie Henderson for a minute, and different configurations. You know, Billy Harper, Slide Hampton was in there. McCoy was in some groups with him, and so he said, I'm gonna expand to a sextet. I went over to his house, his apartment the next day, and he gave me a stack of records, you know, and he goes, here, learn these, you know. And I knew a lot of them because of art, man. I used to play free for all every morning when I was in college down in Miami to get me going. That was my dun 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 dun. Okay, I'm ready now, baby. Let's roll. So um, the quintet records, I added a third part. And I made me a little chart because they were on their way to Japan. So I had about a month to prepare. And so that's what I did every day. I'd knock out, you know, 5, 10 tunes with, and I'd have my part. I'd add it to the quintet. I didn't try to rearrange what the guys were playing. I just would stick another note in there. Sometimes it's above the tenor, sometimes I'd be below the tenor. But the point was that when they got back, and I sat in with them again, it was instantly a sextet. And David and Bill Hartman, they didn't have to change anything they were doing, but I just made chords, you know, some unison, some chords, and so I instantly made it a sextet. So that made it easy. We didn't have to do rehearsals, you know. Um, but then when they went to Japan, all this actually happened before they went to Japan. I got ahead of myself. So when they went to Japan, Art was going to fly me out to San Francisco, and we were going to drive back across the country and work our way back to New York. And the band broke up when they got out of Japan because the only one to stay was David Schnitter, but Bill Hartman, Mickey Tucker, and Cameron Brown, they all left the band because arts program wasn't a long-term program. I stayed probably one of the longest stays, you know, besides Wayne. I was there 4.5 years, and that was, you know, pushing it, you know. So, because you know, there was always a constant turnover because you would kind of outgrow it, you know, because Art, he was an institution, and he had a method. He was really seriously into grooming people, you know, and then you would graduate. Maybe that's a better word than outgrowing it. You would sort of come to this point where you know it's time to fly. You know, Art had given you everything you can, because you find him repeating himself a lot, you know, to new guys and stuff. And so you learn his speeches and his pep talks and his wisdom talks and his getting your ass talks. You know, he had those. You know, he'd bring you backstage and cuss the band out. You know, after you've been through about 4 or 5 of those, you start to see the pattern. You know. So, but it was a good pattern, and but at the same time, uh, if you know it too well, you got to go, because then you're not. He's not effective. You know, he starts to fall on deaf ears. So he needs. All right, you guys got it. Bye. You know. So, you know, it was a great experience. He was very positive. He loved young people. That's where he preferred to hang out with young folks because he got the energy from them, and then it was a transfer of knowledge and spirit, you know. But like Art used to always say, this ain't the post office, you know, so don't get too comfortable, you know.
Wow, man, I love that story because we're living for you when you talk about art, and I want to really get a sense for like how do you see in terms of we need more institutions like that today, right? You know, if there was a band like Art Blakey, jazz banders that musicians, you know, can go into and get that kind of tutelage. They're not. I guess we had an interview in the past with Eric Reed where we talked a little bit about that and talked about creating those institutions for people then to network and talk to people like you and also play with people like you and for the message to be passed down, you know. And if anything, I just want to know from you in terms of what was that like in terms of that process, you know, learning from people like that and even the scene in general back then compared to what it is now, and what can we be thinking about as young artists to kind of bridge that gap, you know?
Well, we didn't have internet and things like that, cell phones and stuff. And so things move slower on a certain level, communication and stuff. So, I mean, when we were on the road in Europe, we used to send postcards home. We'd always stack up on postcards and, leave them at the hotel and let them mail them. I don't think that happens now anymore. That was our way. Or we go to a phone booth and drop a bunch of coins or then they got the phone card and we still go out to the phone booth. Sometimes be raining so you could call home or call somebody. But that being said, there was a whole line of older folks, some around my age, some younger, in their 60s, late 50s and stuff. And they were working and touring a lot. And so we had opportunities to be with them and become a band. When you start taking the music off the page, you don't need the music, because Art really didn't like any music on the bandstand. So he would give you a couple of days, then you had to get rid of it. And even if you didn't know it that well, he welcomed mistakes, because if you make a mistake, you're not going to make it again tomorrow night. So we had a continuity that allowed us to make mistakes and grow and become tight, yet loose. We were a loose tight. Because then we played like this album called Album of the Year. Well, we were in the middle of a tour, and it was a Wynton and Billy Pierce, myself, Charles Fambro, and James Williams, and of course Art. We went in there in Paris and recorded this, and we only did like one take of everything. That record was there's no outtakes on that record. We just went in there and just played it. That was the quickest record date I ever did. As long as that record lasted, that's about how long the date lasted, maybe 3 hours, because you had to stop in the studio and numb. But those songs are all first takes, because it was pretty tight. And in the heyday of Horizon, when we was with Blue Note, I'll say most of the things we did were first takes, basically, because sometimes we'd be in there and the engineer would stop. Oh, wait, let me. You know how it is in the studio. You're starting to take, and then all of a sudden something happens. You got to stop. And the engineer does something, or no. But then you do another take. But basically, that's it. With Horizon, man, it was quick. The 29th Street Saxophone Quartet, when we went in the studio, we were together 14 years. Horizon, with that personnel, was together at least 10 years, same guys. So it's kind of hard now to the way the industry is structured for someone my age to provide a steady stream of income and a steady stream of opportunities to entice and encourage a young musician to be loyal to what you're doing. Because things are moving so fast, I might get a few gigs I can play with you, but you got your own thing, and it's just like that. It's like that. Eric, when he was with us on the piano, Josh, I mean, when your guests come up, I can't get y'all sometimes because you're busy. It's different now. It's like nobody there. I have an institution, but other people have an institution. Curtis Lundy has an institution. Victor Jones has an institution. Benny Green. A lot of cats. if you got a chance to do a year, at least a solid year, I think right now, if you can do a year and a half with some cat, you'll get a lot out of it, because there's nothing stronger than having an organized band. And that's what I've missed and I've been trying to get to. Although it's times have changed, so that you were saying what's different, Ken. I did like about a year and a half at Lewis Hayes, with George Coleman for a couple years. I did a couple years with Panama Francis up at the Rainbow Room. I had a chance to get in there, learn the music, memorize the music, and get off the paper. And then things started to jump off, But right now, it doesn't happen too often.
Mm-hmm. So that's really deep, because it seems like we're dealing with something that's bigger than us in a way, because it seems like in terms of what the music industry is set up right now and how people have it set up, they're not prioritizing, because they're not prioritizing at least the masters in the ways that then that will create the best opportunities for younger people to then seek those opportunities in the way that I feel like it's still possible today, but as you said, doesn't happen enough. And I think there's something we need to do about that in terms of making sure that, I guess that's how it works, but I do think that's another conversation we should have too, in terms of, because that opens up a whole other cans of worms and all the festivals today. And
a lot of jazz festivals that used to be jazz festivals don't really have jazz on them no more. Like Montreux and North Sea doesn't really have much jazz on it anymore. Those used to be the mecca where we run it. It would take us 2 hours to get out of the lobby as you check into the hotel. There'd be so many cats in the lobby, man. You get your key and it's like take you 2 hours to get to your room, man. You might put your luggage over there and go sit down and have a coffee or a drink with somebody and, and sit down and start listening, man, it take you 2 hours like just to check in, get to your room, but that's then, this is now, this music is indestructible. And I know that y'all's generation are going to have other opportunities and other ways to express that we didn't, because my opportunities don't exist anymore, but you guys got new opportunities and even different ways to express the music. So I think, if a musician has done their homework and they have a solid foundation, man, I think the sky's the limit these days with what you want to do, with it, people my age, you can't sit back and say it's got to go this way or that way, but we do have some never-ending truth and value, eternal truth and value that we would really like to make sure that the younger people that we come into contact with can get that, and then they can go forward. That's all,
Yeah, man, absolutely. I would add to that in terms of creating these opportunities like this, online. But as you were saying, like making your face known and showing up at people's shows, like people that are here, wondering about how to, contact with these people. Obviously, you were going out, you were playing on the scene, you were, meeting people, talking to people, trying to sit in with people on that, it's like some of that proactive kind of energy I think we also need as well.
You have to.
I would add to that. Yeah.
You have to. It's a social art form. BAM or jazz, whatever you want to call it. It's a social art form. So you got to go out and be around folks. It's just, you don't just hand out a card or put up a website or, stow stuff on the social media and expect something to happen, but you got to go out and have contact with folks, and that's something that's endearing. I mean, that's a eternal truth, you got to go out. You mentioned something else that was really good, but at the same time, the technology and the social media allows us to do something like this. You know, I see all the names that are around there, you know, at the same time me and you are talking. So this is great stuff, you know. And during the pandemic, I did several master classes at different universities, and I taught a couple classes before I retired from my home. And I mean, you can't deny that kind of stuff, man. So it's and musicians they're industrious, you know. We we be trying to hustle, man. We always be looking for something, you know. So it's like all this stuff, man, you know, can help. You know, it's like if you learn how to drive a standard shift car, you know, like I grew up without power steering, you know, and we had a clutch, you know, and the shift gears. So when I got into an automatic vehicle, oh man, it's like, and it had power steering, and then it gets to the point where you got cruise control, you know, and that requires, you know, first of all, you're still driving, but it becomes like a lot easier, and but you still got to watch out for the other guy, you know. Sometimes that cruise control, you be cruising so hard, next thing you know, you'll run up on somebody. You see, you know, you still got to pay attention. So I'm just using that maybe as a metaphor or to reflect on what you guys have in front of you. You know, how much music and videos. A lot of those videos on YouTube, man, we had to go to a private collector to listen to. Certain cats that had that repository of videos, and like the cat in Paris, you know. We used to go flock to his house every time we were in Paris, and he had a little theater set up in his apartment. Another guy in Albany, brother, you know, we watched these films, and we got to see Bud Powell and Art Tatum and Bird and Train and McCoy and you name it, he had it. And we were just sitting there for hours, you know. And now it's all on YouTube. All that stuff used to be, you know, priceless. You know, want to come over to my house and watch some Sonny Stitt, you know, I still got them, you know, on VHS, you know, because we used to trade them, you know, you know, copy them, trade them, send them around, you know. But right now it's like right there. Go to YouTube and you can see all kinds of stuff now. And I go, oh yeah, I got that video in my closet, you know. Been had it for years, you know. So you guys have another puzzle to figure out what's going to lead you to success and how you're going to represent the music going into the future. And I like what you're doing because you're respecting the cats that came before you, and if you know, if you're really open, older cats will be open. It was a fair exchange, you know, like Art used to say, fair exchange is no robbery.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got some people. You had to excuse me, my little munchie. There's people leaving the house.
You got it, brother. You got it. Absolutely.
She wants to get out. She'll get out in a minute. But anyway, yeah, man. I mean, you know, and you know, I've had my heart broken a lot over the years. You know, people disappoint you, and they, you know, hurt you sometimes. You know,
we can barely hear.
Potentially, you know, there's a lot of people talk. You know, musicians love the gossip. That's really fun. You know, so you know.
Wow, man.
There's a lot of things. You know, you have to believe in yourself. Hey, Pam.
Wow. No, we can barely hear it because of it reduces all the background noise anyway.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying the camera, because of the settings, it reduces the background noises anyway, so you don't even, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that takes us to my last question before I open it up for people to ask questions. is, obviously, I've been learning a lot of your tunes as well, and there's something about the way you write, and I want to reference back to what you said earlier about we all have a song we're trying to play throughout our entire life. And I just wanted to know about your composition process and how that is, and how do you go about doing that?
I keep a notebook, a sketch pad. I have little notebooks with ledger lines in them. And if I can get to them, I'll write it in there and I'll date it, put the time, 4/22, 23, 3:45 in my music room. And then I'll just sketch it out, no melody. I mean, the melody, but no harmony. And, I'm not thinking, I'm just writing the melody. And sometimes I put a time signature on it. Sometimes I won't, and that way, and then I'll just not be pressed to finish it. And so if you keep doing this, you build like what my composition used to call a boneyard. So you can go to your boneyard and pick out things, 'cause sometimes you write something that might be the bridge of something else, because that's what I learned, from writing. It's like it could be months apart or years apart, and you all of a sudden you go, wow, this goes with this, because it's all coming from the same source, even though your mind's over here right now, over here this year, that was 5 years ago, and you start pulling all these pieces of information. Sometimes I get divine information, called divine inspiration, and I can finish a tune like that. Some of the tunes came like that, like Time Will Tell, Wheel Within a Wheel, several tunes, what's that, Sweet Dreams, certain tunes just came, and other tunes, you got a piece here, you got a piece here, and then all of a sudden you got a record date coming up, so you start going through your thing and revisiting, and you go, oh yeah, this is worth it. Now let me try to finish it, But I just pile up little sketches, and go to them when I need them. Always adding. Also now, with these micro recorders, I used to have a little micro recorder. I sing into it, but now it's even better because if I hear something, I can just turn on the, and just sing into it or put it on the piano. If I'm somewhere, I just turn it on record and just play something,
Oh man.
So it's like, you don't miss too much, Whatever, and then you got it, and it timestamps it for you. It'll tell you where you're at, And so I got a bunch of files on this phone that I'm trying to I go to every so often, But the main thing, sometimes I do these modes where I hear stuff in bed, I might hear something in my sleep. And so I'll get up out of bed and write it down and go back to sleep. Because I might sing it over 100 times, but trust me, when you wake up in the morning, at least for me, I'm not going to remember exactly. So if I would keep out, sometimes I'll keep a piece of manuscript paper by the bed, and then write it out. But now, with the computer, I'll just get on up and, record it a little bit and then go back to bed. You see? That's how Keeping It Real, that song. That's how that happened. I woke up with that. And so I jumped out of the bed and went downstairs. It was so strong. I said, I got to just get this right now. And it wasn't complete. I had to tweak it for about a couple of weeks, but I had it and I knew what I wanted, But that one, I said, man, get your ass up out of bed. You better go get that one.
Constant search, huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's like a constant search for that thing you're hearing.
Yeah, and then sometimes I just go fishing, at the piano. I tell my brother, so what you know, I'm going fishing, you know. I just start playing anything, just kind of, like I just did, you know. I just start fishing and turn the recorder on and then go back and listen that way. It's all coming, Sam Rivers, excuse me, 2008. Mhm. Sam Rivers had me, he said, man, just take a score paper, put the instruments down, say big band, and then just write. Don't think about what each line, just fill up the page. And then he said, if you take that and take out the parts and let people play it, it would still sound like you. Without any thought, just fill up the page. Don't worry about chords or nothing. Just fill up the page. Sam, we did a opera with Sam Rivers called Samson and Delilah, and it ran for 2 hours, the music, but our parts, he had a 2-hour opera on one manuscript page. You unfold it, and there was a whole opera because he put a lot of trust and responsibility on us to take what he had, and then the singers, all they had was libretto. They didn't have any melody. I said, wow, I learned a lot there. 2 hours it ran.
Oh man, I just want to say thank you, man, for that. Just been spitting jewels all interview long, man. And I knew that this conversation was good. We were scheduling this for a while, so I was so excited, to be able to finally talk to you, man. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that, man, because we truly need to hear people like you talk about this stuff. Like what you said, the never-ending truth. I like that.
And I need to hook up with y'all, well,
So yeah, we're gonna make sure that you're locked in within in the Shed community, and all the students, all the people that are here that would be interested to work with you. We're gonna try to make that happen as well, and we're gonna talk a lot more about it. I wanted to open it up quickly for people that wanted to ask questions, and then that way we can, wrap up things from there. So anybody that want to ask questions, we'll take one now. I see Ori. How you doing, Ori? You can unmute.
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Good,
yes. Okay, so I have a few questions. If I may ask, how are you developing your solos? Because I'm a little bit struggle to develop my solos, and I was hoping that because you're a legend, that how do you develop your own solos? If you would give me a piece of advice.
I learned a lot about developing solos when I was with the Messengers. Not just because of that, but being with that group, I ran into people like Johnny Griffin and other folks, and I would ask those type of same questions, and so you have to look at your solo as a curve. You got a slow rise when you rise, and then when you peak, then you get out quick. So you start here and you might end up at that level. Some people, when they play, they start here and they end up here. Some people, when they play, they start here and they end up there.
Yeah.
And so you gotta start to develop how that shape is in your it's like the whole curve of Western music, but Eastern music has it. It goes like that, and can go. And African is another type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But in the way we play, you know, we go. You got to say we look at it like this. First chorus, you know, introducing yourself. Hey, 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 kind of pecking around or whatever. You know, then when you go to the second chorus, you know, you want to get a little more active, you know, and maybe go up a little higher, you know, things that make it rise, maybe a few more notes, and then you say, well, I'm gonna peak on the third chorus, and then you go, and you get to that third chorus, you know, and then after you do that third chorus, you want to make sure that the last 4 bars you sign off. You know, usually with some type of blues thing, I'm done. You know, so the people, so that the audience, you don't know whether they're clapping because you're done. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm glad he's finished playing, or are they clapping because they enjoyed what you played? See, we have a certain amount of control, you know, and we can a certain amount of, for lack of a better word, manipulation. You can control your listener. You know, it's not just like a rocket shooting, you know, and just like hope for the best, you know, off we go into the wild blue yonder. You know, it's like, no, it's the cats told me, man, there's a science behind the solo. And if you start listening to all your stuff that you're listening to with that mind, those stages, you know, when they peak and then they trail off, and the last 4 bars, it's very clear that you're signing off. And if you're really good, as you sign off, you can leave something for the next cat to pick up on. You'll hear that on records, you know. Gal finished with an idea, and the next guy comes in and he picks up his idea and uses it to launch his solo. These are all by design. Those aren't accidental things. These are like part of the hidden science or secrets of this music that helps you become more expressive, that you don't learn in school, and you don't learn it unless you hang out with cats that will tell you, you know, like Art would play. We knew when Art went to the big cymbal, we were about done. I don't care how long you felt you were going to play. When Art went to that big cymbal, if he hadn't got your expression off, when he went to that big ride, you know, you had 1 more chorus, maybe 2. You know, if you went past that, because I ain't done yet, Art would just like, you start doing stuff, you know, let you know, like, stop.
Yeah.
You know, you were done. You had it. Wait around and get it on the next one. See, because it was always measured. You know, I played with Wayne. I got a chance, and he peaked. He would go up, he would peak, and then he'd stop there, but then he would start there and then peak again. And then he'd be higher, then he'd peak again. I've had, you know, cats like that, man. When he was such a master, he would like peak 2 or 3 times in one solo, because he was such a scientific thing. He knew how to manipulate sound and keep you on the edge of your seat. And he would just like, you know, play. He could play longer, you know. But if you always start now, you know, start trying to give yourself a limit. You know, I'm going up to play. I'm gonna play 4 choruses.
All right.
And then make it 4 choruses, and then get on the next one. And then you'll start to feel, you know, because these all them records, man, they played it, you know, a lot of them had 2 choruses, 3 choruses, most of them records, you know. So listen to it with that in mind, the Blue Note records and stuff. You'll hear the curve.
Thank you very much. You're the best. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We may have one time for more because it's already 5. Goni?
Edo has one too.
Yeah, I'm not. Hi, I'm not sure if this is the correct forum to ask this because it's not relevant for everyone. But I play the alto saxophone, and I wanted to ask if you have any specific alto saxophone like exercises or tips or something specific for your instrument.
Do you play metal or hard rubber?
Hard rubber.
Okay. What strength of reed you got?
3,
3. How open is your mouthpiece?
6.
That's not bad. You know, do you do long tones?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh. Ido, are you a saxophone player? Ido?
Peter?
Hang in there.
No, sir, I'm not.
Oh, what? I see you're a drummer.
That's correct.
Yes. Yes. All right. I just want to make sure you participate because, like I said, we're running out of time. But Goni, I mean, your sound is the most important thing on any instrument. If make sure your equipment is in good shape, no leaks. You got to keep the stuff in tip top, take it to the repairman, make sure you got no leaks all the time and keep it sealing and, practice without the mouthpiece, sometimes, practice without the horn. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's like, take this, something like that, play little melodies on your mouthpiece. That's good for the throat. I think trumpets, y'all do that too, right? It's just good for, right?
Yep, like buzzing cuffs.
Yeah, it's all that's good for the throat, You can open your throat up like that, it helps. That's a big question, Listen, do a lot of listening. That's the main thing, a lot of listening.
Yep. Wow, man. So if anybody else, does anybody have one more question we can possibly fit in? Ido?
Yes. Thank you. And firstly, I really wanted to say it's such an honor, Bobby, to just have the opportunity to listen to you talking, and you're full of wisdom and information. And thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. And my question was, did you, since you've grown older, more than you can afford, physically to be touring and such, did you pick up another thing since then? I don't know, reading or physics or something else, or music stayed the main thing for you?
Oh no, music is the main thing. I did 20 years at director of jazz studies from 2000 to 2020. I was director of jazz study at UMKC Conservatory of Music. And that was a good thing for me because it set me up with healthcare, and I have a pension and a steady paycheck. And I was still allowed to go out on the weekends. I would go out from Thursday through Sunday. And sometimes I would go out for a week, 10 days, because part of my job description was to maintain my presence, internationally. So it was a special thing because it was an endowed professorship, and they expected me to travel. That was part of my deal to, spread the word about UMKC and just be out there visible so that I had some strength to draw in recruiters. So it was kind of a different thing, so so I did, figure out a way, to get through the middle passage and come out now. I'll be 70 this year, but to come out now with a little something, healthcare and all those type of things that every person needs, not just musicians, but every person needs those type of things. If you start thinking about that,
Glad to hear that.
So I did do that. But now, all I do, since I retired from the university, I'm back to where I was before I got the job. I'm just on the phone trying to book gigs. Here's my little date book, I'm talking about, trying to fill up dates. I got gifted in here on Saturday at 3.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm back to what I'm doing, just on the phone. I got an agent and I got a manager that helps me, that's been knowing me for a long time. And, you know, they was working with me all the while through the time I was at the university, but there were certain dates I couldn't do because I had certain things I had to do at the university. I had to be there for this date, auditions and spring concert, fall concert, and fundraiser day, and you know, things I had to be there for, you know. So you know, now that's off the table, you know, I'm back to being real selfish now.
That's great to hear. And
Yeah.
yeah,
The travel
you can never
part.
get tired of like being in the music business.
Yeah, the travel is the hard thing now for me, you know.
Yeah.
Just traveling, but I've over the years I got little tricks that, you know, make me feel like I'm in first class, even though I'm not, you know. I use my miles. I got a bunch of miles, and you know, you just accumulate miles. You know, I'm in a Delta Sky Lounge. I can go in there and, you know, or get a day pass. If I got 4-hour layover, I can get in the lounge, and different little things. It's like, you know, pre-boarding and all that good stuff, you know, so that you can get in there and put your stuff up, you know, and just you be comfortable and go, you know. But it's still, traveling is, that's what they pay us for. They don't pay us for the plan.
Yeah, I dig that.
They pay us to get there.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I appreciate your time, Bobby. I just want to say thank you once again, and also to the people that are here. You know, we thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us. And, you know, we look forward to doing more. I'll be in touch with you throughout the whole process. And yeah, man, I just want to, you know, cut it so that, you know, we give, you know, we respect your time and everything like that.
Oh, that's cool. You know, I just want to say one thing that's been on my mind. There's something that they said. It's not the musician who knows the most. It's the musician who hears the most. So think about it. You got to still have knowledge, but then it's basically, what are you hearing? You know, it's that one song again, you know, your life song. What is it that you hear? You know, Curtis Lundy, I've heard him grow so much, and but I still would know it's Curtis. I mean, I hear Gifton. If I hear you, I know it's you, because no matter how much you're developing, you still got this one song in your head that I recognize. You know, I don't know what it is. You can't put it on paper. You know, it's just something that, it's like, what is your body and your soul tuned to? A certain vibration, and that's where you live. You know, and you try to move it around, but we're all tuned. We're all like crystals or something like that. But we're all tuned to certain vibrations, and that where we really vibrate the best. And we're gonna always create from that spot. You know, you can't escape yourself. You know, so you may as well accept yourself and try to exploit yourself, exploit your weaknesses, exploit your strengths. Like I say, everything is in addition to, not in place of. So those are two of the heaviest things that help me, you know. I'm sorry for all those that wanted us to dish some dirt and stuff, you know, but you know that joke, man. The cat gets back to New York and he runs into the cats. He goes, man, oh, we had a great tour in Europe, man. We did it for 4 weeks, man. Sold out crowds, man. You go, oh, really? I didn't hear about that. You heard that one? No, I didn't hear about that. No, I didn't hear about that. Oh, yeah, man. We was on radio. Man, we did a couple television appearances, man. We opened for Miles. You know, it was fantastic. No, I didn't hear about that. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Oh, man. It was awesome, man. And we did a couple recordings over there, man. And, you know, they wanted to come back, you know, in about 2 months. You know, no, I didn't hear about that. The only one thing, you know, we, our last gig was in Amsterdam. And so the bass player, you know, he had some hash in his bass case. So when we got back to JFK, man, you know, he kind of got busted. He go, oh yeah, we heard about that.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, remember that time when we were going to we were doing a gig. It was me, you, and it was Curtis, and also
Was it Victor?
yeah, it was Vincent. Yeah.
Oh, Vincent. Vincent Ector.
No, not actor. Not actor. I'm sorry. It wasn't actor. It was.
Was it Victor
Oh
Lewis?
man, Seventh Avenue. He wrote Seventh Avenue. He wrote. Oh, man, it's filming right now. But we were making so many jokes in the car towards. The
Oh,
gig.
yeah.
Right here. There was a bunch of jokes. I remember. We were just I remember that time. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, my generation, we're into jokes.
I remember. Shoot. Before I get off the call.
Eric Kennedy?
No, he's the one. Victor Lewis.
Yeah, Victor Lewis. Yeah, I was gonna say Victor Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause we went up to Vermont.
Vermont. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Vermont. Yes, man. Good times. Good times.
Good times. Well, I'm really proud of what you're doing, man. What you're working with here, man, and that tells me the next time I hear you, I'm gonna hear something new coming out of your horn.
Oh man,
just by your actions.
Thank you, and I appreciate you being a part of this. It takes all of us as a community. So, you'll be hearing from me. We'll be getting things moving. You know how it goes. So, once again, man, I appreciate you a lot, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't really do many private lessons. I have to honestly admit, but if we all, can touch base with the community, we'll all do our part.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll work that all out too.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect, man. Thank you. You have any? I guess before we go, that you mentioned, any future recordings coming up, and any other projects at the moment that people can then look out for?
I have a few of them in the can. I did something with Richard Johnson and Marlene Rosenberg, and I forget the drummer's name now. He kicked my butt in Chicago, live at the Jazz Showcase. That's been in the can for a couple years. I did a big band session with All Stars in Spain last spring. He did the arranger Duccio Bertini. He did 7 of my arrangements for big band. So the whole album is my arrangements. He did a wonderful job. I mean, he took it somewhere, places that I never would have imagined. And we spent a couple of days recording in Spain. I have a duo record with Italian cat that I play duo with sometimes. We recorded that maybe now 3-4 years ago, before the pandemic. So there's a couple things that are out there on the back burner that could probably come out at some point, besides the stuff I do for Smoke. But yeah, they're lurking around. They're lurking.
And we can all find that on the website when that time comes.
No, I'm giving you some inside stuff. Yeah, none of them have been released yet.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was saying the next year. Okay. In the next year, they'll surface.
Perfect. And so we'll give everybody your IG handle and Facebook information as well, so that people just
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it up. I have my daughter helps me a lot. Keep a presence. Sometimes I use Jesse Markowitz. When I can afford him, I use him for a month or two, and that's good. So I just feed him information and he takes it,
Yeah. Wow, man. Perfect, man. Hey, brother. We'll be in touch. Thank you for joining us.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you all, everybody that participated, everybody that came through.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Bobby.
you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bobby. You're the best. Thank you.
All right, all
Thank
the
you very
best for you guys, man. Y'all stay up, man. Don't let it nothing get you down. All right, we're all gonna have our days, but stay strong.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much. You're the best. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Gifted, we'll holler.
We'll holler. Yes, sir.
All right, later.